everybody, it's Lori. I am here to share another journal with you, and this one is Valentine's Day theme. And even though Valentine's Day is not really my favorite time of year, I thought it might appeal to somebody, so I put this little journal together. It is using the Ivy Shutter's Sweet Nothings printables, and it is a single signature. It has 44 pages, so 88 sides, and the pages are approximately about 5 1/4 in width by 8 inches in height, and then the cover is just a little bit bigger than that. And this one I also did in that kind of a raggedy style that it'll be fraying on the edges until you get up to the stitching here that I did around the edges. So if you like that raggedy look, this is going to be perfect. Let's see here. This one I decided I wanted to make it sort of like a patchwork, like a messy patchwork collage. So what I did was I took 2 solid pieces of fabric for the inside and the outside, and then I just did some pieces of fabric that I cut out and just did a little bit of stitching on in sort of a collage style. So like this is another piece of fabric right here, and then this right here is also from another piece. This is a little canvas sticker sheet, came off a canvas sticker sheet that I got. And then underneath that is a piece of a doily that I dyed sort of a pink color, and then a couple other, squares of different Valentine's-y kind of fabric. Oh, and a little bit of cheesecloth. I stuck a couple little pieces of that in there too. And then I also sewed on together a little library pocket, and I sewed that to the front. And then I've got a couple little tags in the pocket. The closure is a satin ribbon, and I also did a little bit of patchworking on the back, and I wasn't going to, but this is funny. This is what happened. Well, it wasn't funny at the time. I said a lot of not very feminine words. There was a lot of beeping going on in my sewing area. What happened was I was cutting another piece of fabric, and I accidentally had this piece in the way and didn't realize it, and I sliced off the corner after it had already been cut to size. And I was like, oh man, what the hell am I gonna do now? So I decided I would just cut a couple more squares of fabric and stitch them on there, try and make it look like I meant to do that. I've got this little belt loop thing sewed here to the back to feed the ribbon through. And I got this idea from, oh gosh, her name is Susie, and I think her YouTube handle is Creative Cafe Girl or something like that. I've been following her for years, since both of us used to do a lot of mini albums. I'll put the link to her YouTube channel in the description box. She's been on YouTube for years, and she's just very, very talented. I know you'd get some inspiration from her. She's new to the junk journaling, but she jumped in with both feet. All right, let's see here. And then a closure just tied in a bow. And then as you can see, I did some zigzag stitching around the edges, and then like I said, it's already starting to fray really nicely for that raggedy look. And then the pocket here, I've got 2 little tags, and I just sewed little bits and pieces of trim to the tags just to give them a little bit of dimension. And then this is the library pocket that I sewed together, and then just excuse me, kind of a raggedy flower here that I made using the Tim Holtz, oh gosh, one of his dies. What's the name of it? I can't remember. It's his raggedy flower die. Okay, and then I just sewed that onto the cover too. Alrighty. And then we'll just go inside, and I will just start flipping. As you can see, I've sewn little bits and pieces of trim to some of the pages. There's lots of sewing in this book. Lots of kind of messy stitching with a bunch of different stitches. And some pockets and quite a few tags. Did a lot of stitching around the tags. I sprayed some of the backs of the tags with a couple different colors of Tim Holtz Distress Stain sprays. Did some stamping in them. And this actually is a piece from a Valentine's Day themed 6x6 paper pad that I had. I think it's my Mind's Eye from maybe 4 years ago. And here is a little tag that I altered. It's one of those 6-inch big shipping tags. And I sewed down some tapestry or upholstery fabric to it, and then a piece of paper, and made a little pocket out of it, put some trim on there, and then stuck a little tag inside the tag. And then it's just stained with the distress stain on the back. And I'm just holding it on here with a little pink paper clip. And these back pages, or the journal line pages, were not part of the Sweet Nothings. They haven't been part of the Sweet Nothings printable kit, but I wanted to do them for this journal, so there's 5 of them, and I'm going to be adding them to the kit that's listed in my Etsy store. There's a piece of really pretty vellum. It's kind of a gold print on it. When I did these printables, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do retro or vintage, so I just decided on more of a collage of both on the pages. A piece of tracing paper that I dyed purple. And this is also from another Valentine's Day 6x6 paper pad that I had. And this one is from the Paper Studio from, probably 3-4 years ago. And here is the middle of the signature. And I took a paper bag that I want to say I got it at the Dollar Tree a few years ago. And I just cut it down a little bit so it wasn't so tall, and then I'm making a little tuck spot pocket out of the bottom of the sack. I sewed some fabric to the bottom of it, and then a little vintage postcard on top of that, and so I'm using it for a tuck spot here for this tag. And then I also have a tag inside the paper bag here. And I've gone ahead and reinforced the middle of the signature a little bit with some washi tape, just to make it a little bit sturdier. And then I just have these 2 little heart buttons dangling on the binding thread. And one is kind of a red blingy button, and the other one is a gold, kind of a vintagey look to it. And here is a little envelope that is part of the printables. And I just stuck a little scrap piece of paper inside of there for a tag. This is part of that Mind's Eye Valentine's 6x6 pad. And I just had a little paper clip with some red lace on it. And here's another envelope that is also part of the printables kit. I just have another little paper clip with some little heart ribbon on it. And I just have the edges of most of the tags and stuff edged with either the Distress Stain ink in the bottle, that's Tim Holtz, or I used the ink pad, the Tim Holtz Distress Stain or Distress ink pad, and both of those I used the aged mahogany color. And I just have this little scrap in there, punched the corners and made a pretty little tag out of it. Alrighty, you guys, and that is it. That is my little Valentine's Day journal. I hope you like it, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you guys later.